So LA Times has this article, another hit piece, opinion. I mean, it's a column saying something about that Larry Elder recall win may end progressive California dream, and which is ridiculous on his face. I can't believe somebody actually wrote that. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's been a progressive nightmare. I mean, with all the homeless, super expensive cost of living, like $5 a gallon gas, everything. There's so many people. California losing population for the first time in hundreds of years or something. I mean, everything about is just bad, and they needed to kind of shake things up a bit. And it's just been so crazy. Like now, the media is showing its true colors, completely unobjection. There's no objectivism whatsoever. They're just all writing negative articles on Larry Elder. From he's a white supremacist to he may say something that like, women saying that harassment was over, sexual harassment was overblown. It's like, look, this person was on the radio for how many years? Had to fill up so much time. I'm sure he said a microaggression here and there, but the most annoying thing to me is they're not arguing with him on the issues or the politics or saying like, oh, you're going to do this, that's, but that's not going to be good, or what Gavin Newsom is doing is way better, and here's the charts, here's the economics, here's this. It's none of that. It's just all attack on his character. Yeah, exactly. Nothing but just attacks on character, or just some kind of like jokes, underhanded slights, saying that they don't like them, saying that he's a black face of white supremacy, or saying something. Oh, I'm sure David Duke endorsed him or whatever. It's anything to keep people in the dark, because I'm sure if they actually start debating his issues and what he stands for and the things that he wants to do, the average voter might be like, hey man, this is not I'm a Democrat, I usually don't vote for Republicans, but hey, this might be a good change. We might need a Larry Elder. It's like, oh yeah, I actually like, this actually makes sense. Which actually even too, like for the Democrats, I think it'd be great, because there are certain things, like for example, the cost of housing and why affordable housing can't be built. Well, because of this environmental law called CEQA. Larry Elder said that the very first day he would call a homeless crisis emergency, and he was suspended. Now, Gavin Newsom was supposedly pro-housing, and a lot of Yimbys are supporting the pro-housing agenda of Newsom. But hey, if Larry Elder was to be in for like half a term and then voted out and suspend CEQA, well, Gavin Newsom or somebody else can come back and do his pro-housing policy, get rid of the single-family zoning, let people build more, but let the radical Larry Elder take the most radical steps, as in suspend CEQA that this other Democrats wouldn't have the balls to do. But yeah, man, this Gustavo Arellano wrote this awful opinion article, and it's just it's pure. It's like pure opinion, pure lame references, but doesn't address Elder with any kind of actual facts or charts or anything. It doesn't talk about any of his positions. No wonder liberals think Larry Elder is walking Armageddon, an asteroid hurling towards Sacramento. Yeah, I don't know, not really. I mean, if you look at the polls, most people don't really care that much about the recall, especially Latinos. He wants to repeal all COVID-19 mask and vaccination mandates. If he becomes the next governor of California, the radio personality thinks the ideal minimum wage is $0. Oh no. He already called undocumented immigrants quote-unquote illegal aliens and thinks women exaggerate the problems of sexism. Well, there's no chance that they're going to lower the minimum wage to 0, so that even doesn't matter. Besides, we have, because of all these progressive because of all this unemployment benefits and all these stimulus checks, and jobs right now are offering starting wage of $22 an hour, minimum 15. So isn't this the utopia the progressives wanted? Nobody's nobody's offering to pay anybody $2 an hour at this point. I mean, can't be serious. If California voters recall, Gavin Newsom, September 14th, an elder maintains his lead among 46 candidates running to replace the incumbent. Sure seems like Endsville for progressive dream in California. No, just a small period. A small little, but like the progressives, they think their progressive policies, it's like an immaculate god, and Larry Elder can't step in for 6 months to make some important changes, and progressives take over. No, that's like a blemish on their god. So they're just like frothing at the mouth, writing all these hitties. Critics decry for self-proclaimed sage from South Central's view as apocalyptic because they are. How? What's apocalyptic about what? His administration would be a nightmare of grievance politics and own the libs revenge. Oh, I see what you're trying to do here. I mean, he's very cognizant that the left and progressives, they're full of grievance politics. About, oh yeah, we should have a racial preference for handing out the vaccines because this demographic group was disadvantaged or aggrieved, so we got to make things right. I mean, just the self-awareness on the left is awful. They are the party of the grievance. Larry Elder just wants to repeal some laws, get some free market, maybe get some free market in there, make things more affordable for poor people. He treat governance, the world's 7th largest economy, as a monopoly board where only money talks and social services are exiled to Baltic Avenue. Yeah, okay. I mean, what citation? Any proof of this? Like, where are you getting this shit from? If anything, that's how California and LA is right now. With current polls showing the recall of Newsom once unthinkable scenario, not possibility, many Californians unmistakably freaked out about the future. But as the cliche goes, the darkest hour just before dawn. It's something glum Newsom supporters should mutter to themselves. Newsom, who's supporting Newsom, really? I mean, he's just like a paper stand-in for like a progressive. I don't see any kind of a diehard Newsom support. This guy goes on to make some unrelated Marvel references to a movie, like has nothing to do with anything. Like, again, where are the charts? Where are the figures? Where are the policy discussion? Nowhere to be seen. This is exactly what's going to happen when Newsom or Elder ends up in Sacramento, because regardless of the final result, California politics will never be the same again. And this guy, oh dude, too, like, this is such an awful writer. Like I think an AI generated like article, opinion piece could probably make more sense or just be more relevant. He's just throwing in cliches after cliches after cliches, like California politics will never be the same again. Like, you can copy paste that like sentence into any election in the past or the future. What do you mean California politics will never be the same again? Of course it will. Progressives and people like Newsom are going to get elected over and over and over again. How will this change? What, did Arnold Schwarzenegger get elected? How much did that change? Not much. It went back to Democrats. And this will be all worth it if it means to have come to the twilight of the talk show gods that have plagued Southern California for a generation. Yes, what a plague, having somebody who disagrees with you on the radio. For a quarter century, they raged against the demographic and political transformation of the state. Well, yeah, the political transformation caused California to be in such a sorry state right now, so weren't they right? They have waged multiple scorched earth campaigns against liberalism and helped transform American conservatism into ideological zombie army it is today. I mean, I would say the Democratic Party right now is actually straight up socialist communist. I would call Larry Elder a lot more liberal than they are. I mean, just see the latest recent article that about condoms, and now about the rules about taking off a condom. It's like these people are just as bad as conservatives. They want these progressives in California are actually invading the bedroom, from repealing pedophile or lessening the punishment for pedophilia, to when and what consent is for taking off a condom in bed. These yankers constructed a hot air balloon of whininess and make social justice words seem like tactrum as majod. But man, has their blimp of oblivion gone around and gaslit near half of the United States? It's now ready to descend on the steps of California Capitol. Yeah, as if California was such a progressive utopia. If it's such a progressive utopia, how come so many poor people are leaving? The middle class is being crushed, leaving. I mean, this is embarrassing. I mean, that's if the country turns a huge swing to the right. I mean, it's pretty obvious why, because these progressive policies are failing bad. Dennis Prager and Ben Shapiro, oh no, the boogeyman, launched a video and podcast empires that easily outperform most of the legacy media. Okay, yeah, but the legacy media is very liberal. And if Dennis Prager and Ben Shapiro are so huge, why are you trying to equate that? Oh, like no, Larry Elder has no support, and this is the final attempt to take over California. Hugh Hewitt gave intellectual cover to the Archie's architect of Afghanistan and Iraq wars. Joe Rogan, Adam Carolla preached the gospel of bro-libertarianism. Joe Rogan is not a libertarian. He's like a progressive. You just like randomly throwing names out there. Joe Rogan supported Bernie Sanders. That's the opposite of libertarianism. All their decades of fomentations have led to this moment, and they could have found a more perfect candidate than Larry Elder. The white supremacist Larry Elder, of course. He is their savior from South Central, the Messiah. Conservatives feel they can deliver California to the Republican Party after a generation of political wilderness, a passion of color, who shares their retrograde values and noxious mouths, a black man who obsesses over the supposed pathologies of blacks and Latinos. If fans need any further proof of his democratic divinity, used to end monologues on his show with, "You have just heard the word." How is this related to his issues? This is like, there's no substance to the article, it's all fluff. He imagines himself as Larry the Elder. He ain't. I've tracked Southern California's talk show world for almost 20 years, and Larry Elder has always been the host who least impressed me. Sage of South Central? More like snore. This article is fucking snore. His rhetorical tricks bury opponents in a rush of book titles, quotes, stats, buttressed by respectability politics that make Booker T. Washington sound radical as Malcolm X. They're out of a high school debate team. No wonder his contemporaries have rushed to help prop up Elder's passion play of pomposity. Hewitt endorsed him. Prager convinced Elder to run. John and Ken Carolla invited Elder on the shows this summer for softball interviews, while Shapiro, who moved his media empire to Tennessee last year, tweeted, "Can't wait for the governorship in California, almost enough to make me think about moving back, almost." There's the enthusiasm for Elder's candidacy among his fans, not just for his views, but because they realization that he's the last best shot at a conservative California. No, that's not quite true. I mean, California is going down a shitty path, but as more and more businesses leave, more and more homeless tents get put up, the shittier, literally, situation gets. More and more dumb laws like CA5. The housing, like average house will cost $2 million plus. I mean, it's possible, like California, like just like New York, elected Rudy Giuliani to bring some law and order to the streets. I mean, California can get a lot shittier before they, try to get some conservatives, at least change course. But yeah, I know it's tough, but it's not their last shot. I mean, see, the days when talk show helped shape Southern California politics are mostly over. Well, if they're mostly over and this conservative stuff is so lame and dying out, how come earlier in the article you just said that Ben Shapiro and Prager are a lot more popular than the legacy media? Ratings have dropped from their heights in the mid 2000s. Hosts mostly joined the listeners in either moving from California or openly wishing to. There's no young local hair to take their place, even in his modern podcast age. Conservatives know that the end times are here, but Newsom camp still doesn't get this, so stumbles instead of surges towards the enemy. If Elder emerges triumphant as he tries to go through with threats, his supermajority Democrat state legislature will block his moves, like Dikembe Mutombo squaring off against a second-grade squad, while voters will easily push him out in the 2020 election. Listen, man. He can do some important changes that the progressives actually want. I'm sure a lot of progressives, these people are pro-housing. On some basic level, they understand basic economics. And they want to repeal the environmental law, CEQA, and repeal some other things that are just bad economics. But it's impossible for progressives to do. So if Larry Elder gets in for just a little bit, repeals that stuff that they all secretly wanted to do, and then doesn't get elected in 2022, he will have, be the fall guy. They can blame him for repealing it, but then never reinstitute the stuff that we repealed. Elder is a false prophet, and the state has churned them out left and right. And like widgets in an assembly line, he believes in his hype, and now he's acting like the California throne is inevitably his. But democracy isn't precedented, and tribulations are needed to make us truly treasure it. Let Elder reign end before it truly begins. End talk show tyranny once and for all, and let the children of sanity inherit the kingdom of California for good on September 14th. Oh wow, this opinion article could not be more repugnant. Children of sanity, Gavin Newsom and the progressives, oh my, and like Pelosi, God, so nasty.